Hello everyone, welcome to this new video. Today on the channel we will talk about a car challenging the small hot hatches of the past. And when I talk about hot hatches, I am referring to the 106, Punto, Saxo and many others. A car that has managed to renew itself over time and that, especially in the sporty version, has not received the merit and recognition it truly deserved. We are talking about the Ford Fiesta, a car with a 40-year history, and June 2023 will see the end of production for the Charles Spazio AME for an electric motorization. Today we will bring a Ford Fiesta ST to the channel, a version that enthusiasts have only recently come to appreciate for its sporty qualities. And today we will tell you about those versions. That version which around the 2000s really needed to be appreciated and which, in my opinion, with the upcoming discontinuation of the production range, could also be, why not, an additional incentive from an investment point of view. Today we will talk about the Ford Fiesta ST6 Malawi in Quatchars, which we will feature with its owner Daniel and discover its strengths and weaknesses. Stay with us, and if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel. Also, we would greatly appreciate it if you could give us a big like by hitting that thumbs up you see on the video. It really helps us out a lot. Follow us on our other social channels. We are active on Instagram, where we post regular updates and behind-the-scenes content. We have recently created a Facebook group where you can join the community and engage with us directly. See you in a bit. So, here we are. Let's start the morning with the owner, Daniel. Hello, welcome to 00122 Motory. A little anecdote. As I mentioned earlier, I have always been interested in this car model and wanted to feature it on the channel. Then, a few days ago, I met him, the person who drove past my house with this car. With my son in the pram, I decided to stop him, and he agreed to talk about this car on the channel. So, thank you for bringing us this car. Daniel, let's get straight to the point. Why the Ford Fiesta ST? So, the reason is a bit of a particular anecdote. I had a normal Ford Fiesta in 2007, a 1.4 diesel, and it was my first car. I was satisfied. Due to a series of problems with the head gasket, I sold it and wanted a new car. I wanted something familiar. I didn't want something different. I checked ads and found the DS, but in the ST version. I thought, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I stayed within this range of cars. Also, you told me about the head gasket problem, but especially the 1.4, besides the diesel sound, is an exceptional engine. I have nothing to say. It took me from right to left without any problems. Then it had its years too. It did what it had to do. So you made a leap. You went from how much horsepower? 38 horsepower. From 150, he will tell us why we have reached a more horsepower. Where do you get this car? I got it from a private seller, a classic ad online, at a good price compared to the market. The car you want, I can tell you a bit about it. Yes, of course. The car currently has 260,000 kilometers on the chassis. It is one of the first STs in Italy from 2005. It had a lot of owners. Gradually, I discovered from enthusiasts, my friend had that car, thus it makes sense. But did you pass, though? Did you pass? I don't know what routes it took. Now, what I did to it were practically all the possible imaginable works, because from the bodywork to the mechanics, I did everything following in order. I can see that the headlights don't have 260,000 kilometers on them. They are actually from the next version. A design that honestly didn't drive me crazy. Yes, what else can I say? Even aesthetically, as we can see, it is black, a metallic blue. This one originally came in Ford blue, the best best of an ST, but as I mentioned, it has been redone because the car was in terrible condition. Thanks for the price. Lower the price. The previous owner left, and one of the owners put some stripes on it, which took off all the paint, leaving cracks everywhere. So, I decided to do it in the steric part like this. Mechanically speaking, however, the car has been The engine has been replaced with one from England, which originally had 70,000 kilometers and now has approximately 90,000 kilometers. Vibratechnics engine mounts. You have a car and then it became the project car because you reworked most things on it. A surprise, as I found something to do. Once I got it, I liked it. Now it's a car with its own history, so I chose to restore it. So, tell me something, because in the end, more than once, even before the video we talked, you always referred a bit to England and something, because what we said before is that this car perhaps didn't have the success it deserved in Italy, but abroad, especially in England, it did. Yes, exactly. I think England is currently the place where there are the most KSST of this model, so the Mark 6. It becomes a source for spare parts. Everything for this car comes from England, or a bit from Germany, but 99% is produced in England. New engine mounts are in England. I found the downpipe, not available in Linux, from England. In Italy, I found parts from Inex Car, Central and Terminal, which are average here. It's a brand I know that has changed. We freed. Let's say that in England this car goes. No, indeed, in fact, this is actually one of the things that should make us think about why. Moreover, the British people have always been fond of cars, so the reflection is necessary. Because, when discussing the 2000s, the reference always goes to those little rockets I mentioned earlier, like the Clio. The 106, the Ford ST, was then put aside, and in my opinion, you spent some money on it. Surely you did it for yourself, because you are attached to this model, but also because you were looking for performance that this car, in my opinion, has. Moreover, I am very curious because he will let me drive it. I have never driven the ST. I have studied all the technical aspects a bit, and I still remember a few years ago when I had a Punto Sporting and at the traffic light, someone with a car like this one pulled up next to me. From the outside, you can't recognize it. I was 20 years old and acting tough at the traffic light, and I got such a wake-up call that I still remember it. I think the lack of success this car had is due to the fact that it is a bit of a sleeper. You don't see it as aggressive. It looks like a regular Fiat 1004 diesel when you see it around. If you pay a bit more attention, you see the bumper, you see the details, but from the rearview mirror, you don't see it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have acted like an idiot that day. So, well, we chose this location a bit sheltered from the chaos, etc., even though today is a holiday and there is a bit of movement, but I hope you can hear some of the sounds this car can offer. Also, as I said before, you didn't just restore something, you upgraded it. Inside, I can see that the car is in good condition, and we might show some images and take a look at the rear and other modifications. And here we are inside the Ford Fiesta ST. So guys, to thoroughly evaluate this car, we need to contextualize it in the early 2000s, specifically around 2003 to 2005. So don't start commenting about the lack of infotainment features. We're talking about 2003 to 2005. This is a car from that era, a time when technology was different. So let's start by saying that what I see here is a componentry that is almost 15 years old and still holds up remarkably well. The plastics have remained as they were, thanks in part to the diligent maintenance done by the owner. The car is in good condition inside, considering its age. Well, there are a few personal touches he added, like the car radio, which suits his specific needs. So, This car definitely enjoys a specific trim that clearly and predominantly involves the seats. As you can see here, the ST logo, the seating has also indeed been revised, as Daniel told me, and it is extremely comfortable and also extremely enveloping, which is absolutely great because this car has a sporty character that must also indeed be reflected in the interior trim. 5 gears, 150 horsepower, as we mentioned earlier. We will see how they actually perform on the road, especially because there has been a little extra addition with the exhaust and the filter, which we will indeed see how they actually perform on the road. My curiosity, clearly, besides valuing and appreciating the interior of this motorway, is in trying it out on the road. But indeed there is the standard equipment, and there is a bit of everything that needs to be kept under control. Rev counter with a red line at 8,000 RPM. The speedometer with 2.40 is specific to this version. The previous versions did not have this red line. And then there's also the pedal set, which is specific to this very sporty trim, and it's well distributed. I wear size 45 shoes and I can easily press the various pedals without any issues. They don't get in the way, and it's probably also good for heel and toe driving with this car. The rear space is that of a typical 3-door Ford Fiesta, accommodating 4 passengers quite comfortably, though the 5th might be a bit more cramped. But these are the characteristics of this segment. So from my personal experience and perspective, at least while comfortably sitting in the driver's seat, the driving position is quite perfect and ideal. It can be adjusted in multiple ways to suit individual preferences, and we have everything conveniently at hand and within easy reach. Now I become increasingly curious because, as they say, appetite comes with eating. To try it on the road and then maybe with the expert help of Daniel, we will also see how to deactivate that bit of advanced electronics that was already present in these recent years. Here it is. SP can be deactivated to see how the character and pedal response dynamically change on the road. See you in a bit then. Stay tuned for more insights.
The sound already enters the arbitrary in a forceful manner and is certainly pleasing, giving it dignity. From what I have read, unlike many other smaller displacements, it clearly needs to be more responsive because the maximum torque is at 3,000 to 4,000 revs, say a bit more. Then we get to a maximum that does some justice to the engine, even if not too much, as it is not natural aspirated. So, the operations you want to do are not yet mine, but it is quite subjective in this regard, also to the aspiration. Then from 2,500, 2,400, 2,400 and 4,500. To this, it is not very suitable. But braking is right. Understand? You said right first. Scroll the center calmly.
I use the second one most. Always ready and sounds cool. You feel at ease. 8.86 meters. 45, but
I am 47M. We are playing with, right now,
the SP. It's engaged. You told me you feel some difference. You notice it often when you shift gears and change. During the shift it takes away some power. If we deactivate it, you're freer. Even in corners, especially if you give it gas, it completely dampens an aspect with her about 4 centimeters. This means that when you accelerate while turning, the car's suspension system effectively absorbs the impact, maintaining stability and control. So, what I always say is that the horsepower should be related a bit to the weight of the work. In other words, the power of the engine should be proportionate to the weight of the vehicle to ensure optimal performance. This one is really very light, but lacks the heavy part. Well, compared to a 110, as you were saying, we still do 200 liters, maybe even 3, but also because there's a bigger engine. This larger engine capacity allows for greater fuel efficiency and power output, making it more suitable for heavy-duty tasks. So, by the way, I tried this thing before, to feel it first in another place, not too strong, because clearly the car is not mine. But I'll tell you, do you know what I felt? The experience was quite enlightening. The car handled exceptionally well, even under moderate acceleration. The suspension system, as I mentioned earlier, played a crucial role in maintaining the car's stability. The engine's power delivery was smooth and consistent, providing a sense of confidence and control. Overall, the car's performance exceeded my expectations, making it a remarkable vehicle in its class. The car, when braking, you approach the corner, you get back into position tight, it lightens up and helps you take the corner. Exactly. And it's not a flaw, it's a flaw for those who are within range. Exactly, it helps to lose the range, because there's a risk of going out again.
Oversteer slightly. And I would definitely start doing it once again. Before leave you our test.
So guys, we have reached the conclusions. Another morning has passed in the company of Daniel and his beautiful Ford Fiesta ST. A product, a car that I hope will be appreciated in Italy for its actual qualities. Specifically, this model has been enhanced, so we appreciated it for what the engine delivers and also for its sound. It is only right that this car has a free song as its engine truly deserves. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope content like this will interest you more. We will strive to bring you more and more of it. If you haven't done so yet, please support the channel. Have a good day and thank you, Daniel. Thank you, it was a pleasure. See you next time, maybe if you bring it back. Perhaps with the next works or modifications, we can bring it back and see how it performs and appreciate any improvements. Goodbye everyone and see you next time.